Hi, my name's Lindy Cowling. Welcome to my channel. My website is www.lindycowling.co.uk. My email is info@lindycowling.co.uk, and the way to contact me is via email, please. If this is the first video that you have watched on this channel, and I have been putting videos up on this channel for the last 3 years, this is an experiential channel, which means that all the work that I share freely on here is via my own direct experience, either my own direct personal evolution, my own direct personal experience, and or the experiences of those clients that I work with worldwide over a 17-year period of working in this arena. So having said that as an introduction, I hope you are all doing well in these vastly accelerating times, almost into April. And the title of the short video today is Pillared Embodiment. Pillared embodiment. The embodiment of pillars. Pillars of consciousness, pillars of light, pillars of evolution. If you are one of the many people that are experiencing vast changes in your perception, vast changes in your awareness, vast changes in your ascension, vast changes in your journey from the third dimension into the fourth and fifth dimension and upwards. If you are one of those many people, you may come to a stage in your evolution as you are opening up via the heart through different rungs of consciousness. You may come to a stage where you begin to engage with different pillars or different rays of consciousness. Now, for the purpose of this video, I am preferring to use the word pillars of consciousness, but you may be one of the many people that are experiencing not only tuning in and tapping into pillars of light or rays of light or pillars of consciousness. I'm talking all about the same thing. I'm just using different words for the same thing. You may, depending on your soul's path, depending on your unique path, you may perceive these pillars as a particular color and for a particular purpose. Now, as I've said in the introduction, this is an experiential channel, which means I am speaking about things from direct experience, one way or another. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to use the example of a white pillar of consciousness, a white ray, a white pillar that is one and the same as what I describe as pure energy, what I describe as new energy, what I describe as that purity, that uncontaminated purity, 0 point. I describe that in great detail on earlier videos. And for the purposes of this video, let's talk about the white pillar that is intrinsically interwoven with creation. Intrinsically interwoven with purity, nature, alchemy, Mother Earth, the elemental kingdom, Christ consciousness, all interwoven together. So when I'm running off these definitions, there is no separation in the definitions I'm running off. They are all layers of the same cake, all interwoven. So that is Christ consciousness, the elemental earth, natural energies. I could even interweave here, in a way, shamanic energies, and there is a big part of my soul that is very shamanic. But I could even weave that in, because shamanic energy is all about the things I'm describing. It is totally nature and the natural environment. All these things woven in as one pillar of consciousness that is not something that is just for the purposes of tapping into a pillar of consciousness, a pillar of white light, but that can, if you are so willing, and if you give permission on a personality level, on a soul level, you can embody that pillar. A pillar of creation, a white pillar of consciousness, a white pillar interwoven, all the same thing I'm talking about. I'm just describing it as Christ consciousness, as nature, as the natural environment, as the elemental kingdom, all interwoven and taken in via the system, via the heart, as an embodied state of consciousness. Not just an embodied state of awareness, an embodied state of a consciousness. And once that has been embodied, activated, shall we say, once there has been that merge between the pillar as your consciousness, all those different ingredients in the cake, Christ level consciousness, elemental, all the nature, I'm talking about the same thing, that purity, creation, as it has all been interwoven as one and the same, excuse me, once you have agreed to take that step, if you like, take that step, it becomes part of your embodiment. So there is a difference between tapping into something and then switching it off again and actually becoming the embodiment of a particular state of energy or consciousness. And once activated, it is not deactivated. It's another stage in which you build upon. But not just that, it is a living merge and engagement of those layers of energy for a specific act of service purpose. So it is not just for one's own personal evolution. It is as a transmitter, as a conduit to have that embodiment of the energy pass through one and out into an interplay, a dance with earth, with nature, with the waterways, with the streams, with the sea, with the earth, with the rocks, with nature, with the planet. I would not use the word contract. I would not even directly use the word agreement. I suppose agreement would be the nearest word I could come. There is an agreement, there's a choice on a soul level, and it's a choice that you will be asked if you step into the embodiment of a pillar of consciousness, as to whether you wish to go ahead with that or not, because it's a two-way street. And by the very nature of that embodiment, you are engaged in a never-ending dance, a never-ending interplay of service to humanity by being the embodiment of a ray, by being the embodiment of a pillar. Different pillars may have different frequencies and levels of consciousness for slightly different purposes, but for the purpose of this video, I'm talking about a white pillar. And once you have made that decision or that agreement, you literally become engaged in that dance of transforming as a conduit energy through you into the interplay of not only the energy of earth, but the physicality, the physical earth, the earth of earth, the soil, the waterways, the trees, the plants, everything to do with earth, the animals, the people, everything that is, there's a knock-on effect and the interplay of. So if you do experience something like this, then I guess you could say it is a big deal. It would be a big deal to you, because it's not a standard activation as such. It is, I would say, almost agreeing to participate as a conduit, as a transformer, to participate in the transformation and the anchoring and embodiment of pure energy, creation energy on this planet. In the time of this pillar being tuned into or being embodied by you, if that is the path you take, you may find that you are, and I smile at this because this is through personal experience and through personal experience of a few of the people that I know, friends and colleagues that I know, where you may find yourself in the right place at the right time, not even planning to go to that particular place, but the consciousness of earth has other ideas. The consciousness of your spirit has other ideas. The consciousness of spirit has other ideas. And you are at the right place at the right time to, as a transformer, as a conduit, participate in that transmission of energy, of that energy flowing through you in a place that you never planned to be, but your car, you took the wrong turning and there you are, so much synchronicity, a place that you would never expect to see, you know, just kind of blows your mind. It's so amazing, so magical, and there you are in the middle of it. You may find that this happens in the build-up to you becoming aware of becoming an embodiment of a ray, and you might find that it increases around the time of that embodiment and afterwards. What I'm saying here is you may find that there will be very little coincidence in where you end up and how you end up and who you end up with, and especially when it's in connection with nature and earth and big energy portals and places on the planet that aren't even necessarily very well known, but especially the more natural ones, the real natural ones, rocks, water, very elemental, untouched by man really, mountains, all these kind of places. You may find yourself also very drawn to literally drop everything and relocate to be around some of the places I'm describing. No coincidence there, as there have been phenomenal changes on this planet and they're still taking place. Certain places that were, let's call them on-grid, are now off-grid, and certain places that weren't on-grid are now on-grid. When I'm talking about grid, I'm talking about the new grid of consciousness on this planet that was laid down and is now active, and people are using that, tapping into that. So some places that were online are offline. I remember describing this in a video a year or 2 years ago, saying that everything had moved to the left, and that big main energy lines, ley lines that were running through particular places, because there had been a shift to the left. They're slightly off left now. So there will be some places, let's call them the original grid places, that are still got the ley line running through, and there will be plenty that haven't, because it's shifted to the left. So it will be running through different places. Everything's being realigned, just like we're being realigned. So is planet Earth. And actually, you know, along those lines, some of the original tribes noticed about a year, 2 years ago, that the alignment of the stars it's not in the same place, and that something's happened, that we've moved, because they navigate by the stars and they can't navigate in the same way because it's all moved. Things are not in the same place as they were. So it's very interesting. It's the same kind of thing we're talking about here. So you may find, if you have started to become or taken on the embodiment in your consciousness via a pillar of consciousness, and again, for purposes of this video, let's talk about the white pillar of consciousness. You may find that not only are you ending up at places that you didn't expect to end up at, but they're just perfectly right for the transmission of energy through you, but also what is needed to come back to you. And that's a very important thing for me to say, because what you will do is you may become acutely sensitive to the giving and receiving of energy. And it becomes vitally important if you're engaging with energy in this way, and it's similar to when you're engaging as a template. That's for another video, really. It's similar to that. But if you're engaging with energy in this way, well, basically you're a transformer. And I brought out a video a year or 2 ago called We Are Transformers. If you're a transformer, if you're a conduit, then you have to be careful not to continuously get into the role of continuously giving and giving, because energy passes through you, but it's easy to get caught in the loop of continuously giving. there must be receiving. Receiving must happen for the circuit to be complete. For this to be complete, there must be receiving. So again, part of the reason why you may be drawn to places that are alive with energy is because there needs to be that receiving going on. Now, what do I mean by alive with energy? I mean the sheer force of life on top of a mountain, on a remote beach that man has hardly walked on before. Looks like Jurassic Park, like a dinosaur could walk around the corner, and the sheer life coming off it, the sheer life coming off a raging waterfall, the sheer life of it making you feel exhilarated and alive, the sheer life force coming off the rocks, the sheer life force coming from the tree, the sheer life force coming from the ocean. And if you have one or two of those combinations, fantastic. If you have all of those combinations, you will feel the degree of life force, pure life force. And that is everything that we're talking about, because as conduits and transformers, as embodiers of the pillar of light, or a pillar of light, or a ray of light, or a ray of consciousness, a pillar of consciousness, you are engaged at that moment by your own free will and agreement. You know, no, you're not forced into that. As a transformer, you are in this dance, this inseparable dance, really, between the consciousness of what I'm talking about, the planet, and you. And so you will be naturally drawn to where there is life, not existence. There's a difference between life and existence. I'm talking about sheer life force. You will be drawn to be around the rawness of our lives, the rawness of nature in its purest. I could say purest and rawest, meaning the same thing. So don't be surprised if you suddenly want to visit places you've never visited before, or you accidentally arrive at places that you never knew were even there, and you're there, right place, right time, and you're transformed by being there, or you feel energy running through you, or there's an interplay between you and nature, especially in terms of this particular white pillar. Don't be at all surprised if it affects some of the life decisions you make, and you suddenly feel driven. You know, I really just need to be somewhere that I've never even visited before, but I know I need to live there now. You know, it's extraordinary. It's a complete different stage of awareness, a different stage of consciousness. It's a total integration. It's all integrated. It's alchemy, really. It's all of those things. And you may get to that stage where this becomes a reality for you as part of your evolution. And so it's a very interesting part of the journey. And as part of that journey, you become aware that there is no separation to do with the different elements of this that I'm talking about. No separation between Christ consciousness and the elemental energy, for example. Totally like this. I could even use a different word here and say that involved in this embodiment of a pillar of consciousness is also the merging, if you like, of your higher consciousness, your higher self, and your ordinary awareness of existence. That merging of the higher and I don't like to call it lower, but you know what I mean, that merging, so that there is no longer any separation there. It is a process. It's a process. Different people go through it at different times. But once you go down the route of pillars of consciousness, although it's related to the other levels, there are slight differences again. It is all about that purity, but it's all about not just service to humanity, but directly and totally linked actually with the whole consciousness of planet Earth as a consciousness, the energy of the planet as well, and everything on it, especially the natural part of that. So it's very interesting, and if that is a point, you know, in you that you've also started to reach, I can tell you that it feels very natural. There's no leap to it. It can't be forced. It's just a natural evolutionary thing. It's a natural dance. It's a natural merging, higher self, we'll call it lower self, a merging here. It's a merging between higher consciousness, lower consciousness. It's a transformation, it's alchemy, it's being a conduit, it's moving energy through you in a service to Earth, service as new energy, service to humanity, all of those things in a creation capacity, automatically natural, not something that has to be forced. In fact, it can't be forced. It seems to happen of its own volition, and the only part in a way that you consciously play on it is agreeing whether you wish to embody that or not. And there are elements of it being quite magical, really. Magical, not in a woo-woo kind of way, in a like a natural children's fairy tale, you know, just magical synchronicities that go with that. I wouldn't say, I wouldn't use the word responsibility that goes with that. It sounds a bit heavy. But there is a decision on a soul level whether you wish to participate in it. And there are consequences of participating in that energy. Because by your very embodiment and by your very nature, of course, it's going to have an effect. But it's all part and parcel of things that we are discovering as a species as we go through these different rungs of awakening, as we go through the heart, as we go into unified consciousness, where you have not the temporary awareness, but awareness 24/7 of no separation to the various levels of inner energy and inner consciousness within you, that you are in fact complete. And although you may be a unique expression of consciousness, you are also fully complete, fully rounded, able, simply by your presence and your existence, to be all things and nothing at the same time. On that note, I will love you and leave you. As always, Thank you so much for subscribing to this channel. Again, thank you so much for nominating me for a Health and Wellness 2017 Industry Award. I am very delighted and very honoured to have been shortlisted. I am on the shortlist for that, and I thank you so much. I was very touched by that. Thank you to all those people that work with me, that engage with me in any way whatsoever. Thank you to my friends. Thank you to colleagues. Thank you to all the clients. And thank you to every single person that subscribes to this channel or contributes to my workspace, which really is, again, no separation between my workspace and me as a soul. It's not something I switch on or off. It's something I am. So thank you to all those that have engaged with me in this interplay of awareness and consciousness so far. I will love you and leave you. Take care. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye-bye.